Now to the very interesting part of this regex discussion, which is how can we actually use it with Python? So what we're going to do is learn a little bit about the RE. That's just short for regex, or regular expressions, the RE module in Python. So to use regex, if we're needing to search for text or have matches in our text for some use case, we're going to import the RE module first of all. The second thing I want you to know is that it's suggested that we use raw strings for regex patterns to avoid escape sequence issues. So we have learned about raw strings and how it treats the strings more literally and doesn't look at things like escape characters. So raw strings are better to use because we don't want Python to look at escape characters. We want it to look at regex within our regex string. So that's why we proceed. This is a very long regex string, just as an example. But we precede that string. We see our opening and closing quotes here. Could be single or double quotes. We have the little letter R to indicate to Python that what follows that little letter R is a raw string and should be treated as such, similarly to how we treat F strings in Python. So that's the second thing. We should use raw strings in our regex expressions. There's four functions or four methods of the RE module that I think are worth discussing at this juncture of our Python learning. There's the search method, the match method, the find all method, and the sub method. And with these four methods, we can do quite a bit. So the search method searches the entire string for a match and returns the object. So here we see there are two parameters. We're calling the search method with our parentheses here following the search method raw string, and then quotes, and within the quotes is our regex expression. So we're trying to match one or more with the plus sign, one or more digits. And then just the second parameter of our search method is the actual string we're searching. So we could put a variable that contains a whole file of string worth of string in there, for example. But then we can say if match, in other words, if we did get a match, print match.group. And that's just a way of printing what we've matched, that dot group. So that would output 1, 2, 3, because we're finding one or more instances of digits. The match will check for matches at the beginning of the string. So similarly, but we're just checking 1, 2, 3. And find all, this one's very powerful, returns a list of all the matches. So if we're looking for digits, we would find that group of digits and that group of digits, and those would be returned as two elements in a list. And then sub replaces matches with a string that we specify. So if we're searching for apples as our regex string, we're using a raw string there, and we want to replace it with bananas, and then our original string is I like apples, we could print the results of what we're assigning that to. The output would be I like bananas instead of apples. So we could manipulate our string that way. So let's take a look at some of these. Let's start with, let's say, find all. So over here we've got our book analysis program we were working on. Let's add another method here, another function. Def regex matching. And let's put in our raw book text. And then down in our main function, we will actually call regex matching for our raw book text. So what we can do here, if we go over and look at our instructions, we have to first import RE. So let's go to the top of our file. We could just put all our imports on one line like this. That would work. However, probably not the best practice. So one convention for Python is to put them in alphabetical order. So we could put import RE above sys and import it that way. So we're now importing RE. It's built into Python. We don't need to install anything separate. And so now let's see what we need to do. We need to, if we're going to find all, have re.findAll. Let's do matches equals re.findAll. And then let's take in our regex that we want to search for, and then the second parameter will be our string. So raw string. Again, I like to use double quotes. A lot of people like to use single quotes, but we can use whatever we like as long as we're consistent. So let's search for digits, and then our second parameter, raw book text, which is our actual juggernaut of space text file. So we're now running that. I've commented out our other functions as you see here. Let's see what we get. Oh, we're not printing anything. Let's print matches. If matches, print matches dot group. Actually, we can just print matches with this one because it's just a list. So there we go. We've matched 1945, 1985, all separate values. We've matched 8 digits. What if we wanted to match every grouping of 4 digits? So if we know there are a lot of year values, we could do that. So 4 instances of digits. There we go. Let's run that. So now we have 2 matches. We have 1945 and 1985. So that's our list. We could search for all instances of the word. This would be similar to what we did without regex, but we could search for all instances of the word the. There's a caveat here. Let's see this. We've got a lot of instances of the. However, that would also include words that are not the. So we could put a space here, and say, oh, all instances of the word the. Well, let's count these first of all. Let's see, print length of matches. How many times do we match this? Over 1,000. But what if we were to add a space at either end? 549. Now, that's not super great syntax for regex. So what if we were to do something like the and then a space, and we don't care if there's a space before the. 663. Now, what if we wanted to match? All uppercase instances of the word the? How would we do that? Well, we could use a set here and just put an uppercase. Well, we could just do T first of all. But what I meant to say is, what if we wanted to match uppercase or lowercase? We could put a set of either lowercase or uppercase t. So we're going to match either one of those, and then HE, and then a space. You see, we're starting to get into a little bit more developed regex here. Still not super complex, but let's run that. 777. So now we're matching lowercase and uppercase. We could match, like, there's many different variations, and we're putting all those into a list. So that's one example. We could replace the word the if we use re.sub. So let's see, our syntax there is result equals re.sub. Let's try a different syntax here. Result equals re.sub. Let's search for the year 1945. Make it our raw string just as convention. And search the raw book text. If result, so if there's a value there, actually we don't need that for this one. We can just input our replacement text here. So we need a value here for what we want to replace that with. Let's say we want to replace that with the word 2000. Let's see what we get. We have our entire raw book text printed out. However, let's see what 1945 turned into. If I just search for 2000, this e-text was produced from Planet Stories fall of 2000, whereas the original text, this e-text was produced from Planet Stories fall 1945. So I'm starting to get a bit long with this lecture. I don't want to add too much to it, but I wanted to give you a tool set to dive in as much as you'd like with Regex to see how powerful it is and to be able to use it. The main things are using this RE module and a convention to use raw strings, and we can leverage the different methods that are in Regex in that RE module. So I hope that's useful to you, and you can dive in as much as you like and continue learning about Regex, or we can move on to our next topics.